Well, hello and welcome to our session on impacts of cybersecurity on our current new world that we're living in. My name is Alex Ryals. I'm the VP of Security for Tech Data in North America, and I'm really excited that I get to take a little bit of time and chat with you guys about cybersecurity. It's one of my favorite topics, and what I want to do today, I thought we'd first take a look at what's changed in our world just in the last few months. COVID-19 has brought in almost a 400% increase in cyber activity from hackers, and we need to be figuring out how the channel can respond to that threat. So I want to evaluate that just a little bit, and then we're going to step into some solutions that Tech Data has built specifically for our channel partners to help you help your customer protect themselves and mitigate against that threat. So I'm really excited you're spending some time with me today, and I hope you're going to find this very interesting. So in my role, I actually am very privileged to have access to a tremendous amount of cybersecurity threat intelligence. In fact, we get tens of thousands of pieces of threat intelligence almost every day globally that come in, and I'm allowed to go through some of that data, and we sort it, and we include that actually in a solution we call RECON MSP that I'm going to talk to you about in just a few minutes. But I thought where we'd start today is a lot of people don't realize that with all the focus on COVID-19 and work from home and the adaptation that companies are having to make as they change to this new world that's largely digital, we've sometimes missed that cybersecurity threat has increased almost 400%. And why wouldn't it? Think of it. If you're a bad guy and you could send simple emails to employees that say something like, click this link to learn when your company is going to go back to work from the office. Click this link if you want to know how you can get your COVID-19 government check. Click this link for you to find out the latest information about the COVID threat in your city or town. Those kind of emails have become extremely popular from the bad guys, knowing that people will click those links. And when they do, they're going to a fake website that downloads malware onto their phone or onto their laptop. And what can you do with that malware? Well, that malware can be used to launch other attacks from your device. It can be used to capture information like your passwords as you type them into your phone or your laptop. There's lots of uses for that stuff. So with that, some of the threat intelligence we're seeing is kind of scary. What I'm showing here on this slide is a couple of articles just from the last couple of days that have come out through my threat feed. Some interesting things here. Russian agents have been hacking major email programs. So this is the same Russian group that was tracked to have compromised the 2016 presidential election through some of the Democratic servers, the Democratic National Convention. This is that same group, and what they're doing is targeting large U.S. companies and their email systems to get information in espionage and intelligence. Over on the right, you see that Iranian-linked hackers are targeting the World Health Organization, which boggles my mind in a time of COVID-19 where we need the WHO to be focused on helping our global pandemic. Bad guys are attacking them because they have a lot of customer health information, and that goes for a high dollar amount on the dark web. Other articles here, a Brazilian hacker was hacking thousands of websites. Web attacks have grown exponentially in the last couple of years. And what we're seeing here is a large set of attacks on web servers because they house customer information. Recently, in the last few weeks, there's been a large global WordPress attacking campaign, knowing that WordPress is a content management system used to build websites that's ubiquitous across the world. Governments are asking to stop cyber attacks on healthcare systems. This is over 40 different countries who've gotten together trying to form a pact or an agreement that their hacking teams are not going to attack each other's healthcare systems, because we are still dealing with a global pandemic and it's not helpful when that happens. Who knows if that'll be effective, but it's interesting to see some of the recent threat activity that comes across our feeds. So what are the current threats we're actually seeing to companies in North America? And many of these apply globally, but one trend I've noticed recently is that we're seeing attacks in terms of quality over quantity. What I mean by that is sometimes the amount of attacks are decreasing in certain specific areas of malware. As an example, SonicWall this year in their cyber threat report noticed that global malware declined slightly from 2018 to 19, which is an interesting statistic. It wasn't a big decline, but what we do know from other reports is the quality of those attacks were more impactful to companies. In other words, bad guys stay in your network longer before launching the attack. Therefore, the attack is more devastating. In the case of ransomware, there are slightly fewer ransomware attacks of certain varieties, but the impact of each attack is much more in terms of monetary damage and inflicting pain and damage on a company, because they're in there a long time before they detonate, and the malware is so much more sophisticated this year than it was even a year before. So some examples of how it's more sophisticated. I've listed here 5 bullets that I've noticed as trending in the threat intelligence reports as being the latest stuff we're seeing recently. So fileless malware is one of those hot topics that's impacting companies daily. Malware is fileless means it doesn't get written to your hard drive on your computer. Used to, you could scan your hard drive looking for signs of malware or bad code and find and clean those problems out. But fileless malware lives and runs in memory on a computer. And while it's possible to detect and root out those threats, it is much harder because traditional triggers for malware are not captured in memory necessarily. So our endpoint security companies are having to be more creative in how they design their security. We're seeing targeted attacks with a higher degree of success, as I mentioned earlier, with quality over quantity. They're being more successful because they're writing better social engineering phishing emails. Oftentimes, almost 90% of malware is delivered through phishing attacks. That is, emails sent out to the masses hoping somebody clicks the link. And they're being more successful in their social engineering tactics and enticing people through that email message to click that link. We're seeing healthcare and local governments suffer a lot lately, partly because they don't have the funds to add the right security solutions. We're also seeing because they have a lot of personal information that sells for a higher fee on the dark web than other types of data. So we're seeing higher amounts of attacks there. IoT malware is big. Why? Because IoT devices like security cameras or thermostats or temperature sensors, those types of things typically don't have a reasonable way to patch and update on a regular basis. So it's easier to find a vulnerability and know it's going to be there for a long period of time. So bad guys will compromise those devices like the modem in your home and then use it as a launching point to attack other people. So we're seeing IoT attacks increase in frequency a lot here in the last year. Web application attacks are also become very, very common. We saw that there was, according to the Verizon Data Breach Report that came out just last month, it's an annual report that's fantastic. It said that 43% of breaches were attacks on web servers this past year, which is double the number of attacks from the previous year. A lot of this is because people are moving their workloads to the cloud and they're putting their web applications in the cloud and forgetting to protect their cloud environment. Something else that was interesting in the Verizon Data Breach Report was that 72% of breaches were against large companies this year and 28% against the SMB customers. That 72% of large companies goes toward this narrative that we're seeing quality over quantity. You may not realize it, but in some countries, like Russia and others, there are actual companies that attack and breach other countries and companies. When we think of hackers, we like to think of someone in a t-shirt in their mom's basement, but the truth is these are very well-organized companies. 55% of them are actually organized crime, so very organized, but they operate like companies. They have a CEO, a CFO, they have a CIO, they have a support staff. If you buy their malware and it doesn't work right, you literally call a 1-800 number to get support. So these companies act like a real organized, structured organizational unit. They wear khakis and polos to work, and that is their job. And in some countries, that's sort of the norm, whereas in the U.S. market and North America, it is thought to not, of course, be acceptable behavior. So we're seeing just a tremendous amount of attack from large organizations, and we're also seeing that 70% of those attacks are from external companies, whereas external actors, threat actors, whereas 30% are coming from internal actions. That doesn't mean 30% of attacks come from an internal employee, because many of that 30% are actually misconfigurations of the environment by an administrator who accidentally misconfigures a firewall, switch, or router, and a bad guy takes advantage of that vulnerability to come into the environment. So some of the lessons we learned this year from the Verizon Data Breach Report are we need to protect our web servers, we need to focus on the external threat actor, and we need to treat them as genuine, organized criminal organizations. So what are our customers supposed to do? How are they to respond to this threat? And there's a lot of ways they could respond, but I like to talk about a concept we think of as defense in depth. Defense in depth is the idea that it's not enough to deploy a strong firewall in your environment and think you're going to be protected. Would you just fortify your front door of your house and think you're safe? No, you'd want to protect the back door, all of your windows. You might want to have a video surveillance system outside. You might want a security system inside. You might want glass break detectors on your windows. Defense in depth is the idea of fortifying every area of your company or surrounding. So there's a couple of things that I want to recommend in particular based on the attacks we're seeing the most of recently. And it starts with employee education and training. Are we teaching our employees to be careful about phishing emails, look at the links before they click them, read the email in context to make sure it really came from where they thought it did? Employee education can be a huge deterrent against malware getting into your environment. Cloud workload security is about securing those cloud workloads that become so popular and common. It's not enough just to put a workload in Amazon or Azure and think it's secure. You must deploy security appliances there just like you would in your local data center. Web application firewalls prevent things like distributed denial of service attacks. Bad guys will oftentimes build a botnet army of tens of thousands of video surveillance devices because no one's monitoring them for security. And then they could point all of those devices at one target, like one company's web server, and overwhelm it with web traffic so that that web server cannot serve normal customers and clients. We call that a distributed denial of service attack, and web application firewalls are great to mitigate that type of attack. Endpoint security is protecting our laptops and mobile phones, especially with COVID-19, and sending employees home to work on company laptops off a home network that might or might not be secure. You need good endpoint security on that laptop, and then you need to use VPN connectivity, a virtual private network, which is encrypting data in transit from your home on your laptop out to your company data center or their cloud environment. We also encrypt data at rest. That's encrypting databases that have passwords and credentials in them. So if a bad guy does get into your network and steals your database, if it's encrypted, they won't be able to do much with it. And email security, of course, for me is really important because as we talked about, almost 90% of malware is deployed through phishing email scams. So email security validates that links in your emails are not suspicious and is a huge deterrent. And lastly, I mentioned practice incident response because it's inevitable today that companies will face cyber breaches of some type. But they oftentimes don't know what to do and how to respond. How many days till I have to notify the public? Till I have to tell a regulatory agency? When should I communicate to my own employees? How do I go about doing digital forensics so it holds up in court? All those type things many companies don't understand well. So practicing an incident response plan is incredibly important. Now here's where you come in. We've talked a lot about the threat. But the truth is most of the mitigation strategies can be deployed as a managed service. And I'm seeing many companies realize they don't have the people or the process or the technology to secure themselves. And they're reaching out to our channel in order to help protect them. And we do that through a managed security service offering. Whether that's deploying a firewall as a service or a security operations center as a service or endpoint as a service, most of these items I've listed here can be deployed on a monthly pay subscription service from your customer to you. And Tech Data has solutions that we can help you with to offer those types of offerings. And so that's what I want to talk to you about for the next 15 minutes. What are the solutions Tech Data has put together that are there to help you help your customer protect themselves? At our security solutions team at Tech Data, I have over 150 people who have been focused on designing solutions and helping our channel grow on a daily basis. We have a cyber range I want to tell you about because there's great resources there, not only to train your customer in security skill, but also to train you as our partner. So let's dive in a little bit and understand some of the solutions that Tech Data has built. And first, I want to point out our security vendor line card. Now, don't misunderstand me. The objective is never to start a sale by focusing on a vendor technology. We always want to approach our customer, listen to their needs, understand their security posture, and then help plug holes so they have a good defense in-depth strategy. But at some point in that process, inevitably, there's a technology required to genuinely secure the customer in an automated way. And because of that, Tech Data has built a robust line card of security solutions aimed to help you sell something to your customer that can plug those holes when you identify what they are. There's over 2,000 security vendors in the market, and as you can tell, we have about 44 of them. So we're very intentional and picky about who we partner up with. And I do over $1 billion in sales through these 44 vendors. Many of these are smaller, some of these are bigger, but they're all strong in their security solutions. They all have a good partner program, and we've vetted them for our channel. And I try to recruit vendors that fit a variety of areas of security so you can sell a good defense in-depth strategy. Now, if you're wondering what vendors we offer or what products they sell, I'm really excited to tell you guys about a new tool we launched just a few months ago called the Spy Tool. This is not a password protected website. You can go to this website right now if you'd like to on your phone. This is a tool that's designed to help you understand what you can sell from Tech Data. So there's two ways to use this tool. You can either select a vendor like Fortinet, and it will auto-filter the rest of these columns to show you all of Fortinet's products, or the categories of security or subcategories of security Fortinet covers. The other way to use this tool is you might go over on the right side and select something like endpoint security as a category there at the top. When you do that, it will auto-filter everything else on the screen immediately to show you all the vendors Tech Data sells in endpoint security and all the products that they offer. If you then select a particular vendor like Fortinet, then it would show you just the Fortinet endpoint security product there on the product list. When you click the report button in the bottom right corner, it will even bring up more information and show you who at Tech Data to reach out to in order to buy these technologies. So we hope this tool will be greatly useful to you as you design solutions with a defense in-depth strategy in mind. Another really fun solution that Tech Data built almost 2 years ago is called the RECON Security Suite. And this has become very popular. Originally, the RECON Security Suite was my way of bringing to market some interesting newer security vendors that are doing something different than everyone else in a subscription way that has a good channel program and that I really wanted to help grow and foster. And many of these players have absolutely grown in their solutions and their offerings, and we're really excited to offer them through our RECON Security Suite. Specifically with this suite of tools, I have white labeled every single one of these offerings so that you as our partner can sell these under our white label brand so you don't have to figure out how to white label it yourself. And we've categorized each of these offerings under the NIST cybersecurity framework, as you can see from the graphic on the right. Identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Each one of these offerings caters to one of those 5 categories of the NIST cybersecurity framework. So here are the 8 RECON Security Suite offerings that we offer today. These are all subscription-based services, either on a monthly or an annual subscription, and they're all backed by a vendor that is really innovative and has some really creative technologies. These are solutions that I haven't seen a lot of other offerings that do this, and I wanted to call them out to you. Now, we're not going to go through all these today, but I want to point out just a few. Our most popular offering is by far RECON SOC. A Security Operations Center is a 24/7 monitoring environment that will help a customer monitor their security posture and pull logs and information off of all their firewalls and servers and devices and tell you where the threat's coming from. Stratezen is one of our great providers of this service, and they do a great job Everything is white labeled for this service. We have PowerPoints, we have data sheets, we have everything you need to train your team and sell this to your customer. Another really neat one I'll mention is RECON Policy from Security Colony, an annual subscription to get access to a library of 200 plus security policy documents already developed and written for your customer to use to comply with various types of regulation. And you as a partner can buy a subscription and then provide a managed service where you can customize those policies for your customer on their behalf. RECON Range is a company called Cloud Range that provides cloud-based instructor-led cybersecurity technical training classes that's really, really good. They'll teach you how to be a SOC analyst as an example. We'll talk about more of these later. We have data sheets on every one of these on our website, and I'll encourage you to check out the RECON Security Suite. Now, the RECON ProServ is our catalog of professional services offered by Tech Data. Assessment services, compliance services, implementation, incident response. We offer a tremendous amount of consultative services. Many of these are delivered by my own team. Some of these are delivered by a network of services-only partners that have specialties in certain areas of security consulting. I would encourage you to reach out to us because we have a tremendous amount of capability here to help you be successful with your customer. A great example is incident response emergency. This is an incident response service. So if your customer calls and says, I've been breached last night, I need help, I need to do digital forensics, I need someone to help me figure out when I should tell regulators or my customers. So inevitably, you always need 3 or 4 people on speed dial that you can call because the first 1 or 2 companies you call for incident response won't be available. So we have already built that network and we're ready to go. So if your customer calls you with an emergency, you reach out to us immediately. We'll engage our network. We'll identify one of our trusted vetted companies to deliver incident response for you. We can set up contracts within hours and help your customer. We've got lots of great success stories with that service and we'd love to help you with that as well. Another solution we launched is called RECON ISAL. ISAL is a government organizational structure that was started after 9/11 by George Bush. It's called Information Sharing and Analysis Organization. The idea is it's a subscription service that customers pay into in order to gain access to a tremendous amount of threat intelligence in a feed format that can be streamed digitally to them and that can load into their SIM solution like IBM QRadar or ArcSight or Splunk, etc. Well, Tech Data has launched for the first time a threat feed that's been in existence for over 15 years, largely used by our government, various governments, and for the first time ever, it's been made commercially available in the last few months, and we call that RECON ISAL. This is a very unique threat feed. Many feeds use us as a source of content. It's a global threat feed that is very unique. We'd love to talk to you more about this. It's a subscription service that you can sell your customer and make great margin selling it. RECON MSP is dating back to the beginning of our call when we talked a little bit about the opportunity for our partners to build security managed services. Many partners come to me every week and they say, Alex, I really think I want to be in the security managed service business, but I don't know where to start. Should I build a SOC service? Should I build firewall as a service? Should I build an endpoint security as a service? And I always ask, well, tell me about your team. What kind of people do you have? What are their skill sets? But inevitably, at some point, the conversation leads toward technology. And it's confusing to know which vendors in the market genuinely have MSSP programs for partners to build a security managed service around. So Tech Data did a lot of work, months of research, and we put together what we call the RECON MSP Catalog. It is the catalog of all the security vendors that we offer and all their managed service programs that you can leverage with subscription pricing, multi-tenant portals, all those things you need to provide a true security managed service. Some of those solutions are turnkey solutions, like RECON SOC as an example. I've already built data sheets and PowerPoint presentations and everything you need, white labeled, ready for you to sell. All you need is to train your sales team and close a deal. Building block solutions are all those pieces of technology that you can wrap your own services around to build a security managed service. Here's an example of what that looks like. This is a sampling of MSSP ready technologies that you can wrap your own services around to build your managed service. Our Tech Data Spy tool has the RECON MSP catalog built into it, so I encourage you to check out that tool at the website below and investigate what type of service you could offer. Another solution I'm extremely excited about is our Digital Security Practice Builder program. About a year and a half ago, I invested in several different people who are former CISOs and security business leaders to come on board and help partners in a one-on-one experience over 3 to 6 months to build a security practice. And through that program, we built a lot of IP helping partners build a security business. But the problem I had was it wasn't easy to scale because it was a 3 to 6 month program in a one-on-one environment. So we have thousands of security partners at Tech Data, and I wanted to scale it broader. So we spent a few months and built the Tech Data Digital Security Practice Builder. It's a website that you can go to. I'll have the web address here at the end of this presentation for you to check out. But it's free to any partner at Tech Data to register and get an account. When you log in, there's 5 different modules of content: strategy, enablement, marketing, services, and execution, and over 40 hours of on-demand content you can watch in video format, along with downloading the PowerPoints and the spreadsheet tools for you to understand how to build a security business. There's a whole section on the execution course for managed security service providers specifically that we just recorded a few weeks ago at an MSP workshop that we held over 2 days. So this is a tremendous amount of IP that Tech Data is giving away at no cost to our partners only to be able to know how to build a security business, what services you might build, how to strategize and design a sales team around building security offerings. Many of our partners are pivoting from non-security sales to security, and this is such a great set of tools to help you do that. I hope you'll check it out. The last topic is I would be remiss not to mention my favorite new solution we built last year, and that is our Tech Data Cyber Range located in Phoenix, Arizona. We built it with 4 benefits in mind for our channel. Training our partners and your customers in cybersecurity skills, and we offer a tremendous amount of online training available through that website, as well as we have an environment where you can get a free account and log in and play and interact on the keyboard with our environment directly. Demonstration is the second mission of our Cyber Range, where we can demonstrate security technology from many different vendors on our line card, including multi-vendor demonstrations, and we'd love to help you do those demos for your customers. Engagement means this is such a fun place for you to engage your customer in a fun environment that is unique. We can play cyber games, we can do lockpick villages, we can do little training exercises, we can let you present to your customer with a lot of digital media and capability. This is a great place to host events for your customers, and I'm hopeful we'll open back up physically soon as we're past some of the COVID-19 quarantine. And services, our services capability we talked about earlier is sold and offered through our Cyber Range. I'll show you a few pictures of the actual facility, and I want to encourage you to check out our website. It's cyberrange.techdata.com, where we have moved many of our events and activities online in a virtual experience. In fact, right on the website, you can even take a virtual tour of the Cyber Range in a 360-degree view walkthrough that's a lot of fun. We're doing virtual events almost every week right now over Zoom or WebEx platform. We have breakout room capability. Many of our vendors are hosting events with partners for the benefit of end customers here. So even though at the moment the physical location is closed down, I would encourage you to reach out on our website for how you can host a physical event here at the Cyber Range. And as I wrap up, I just want to thank everyone for taking a few minutes to learn more about our security solution business at Tech Data. I've listed here several websites that are important for you to know. The practicebuilder.techdata.com/security has that practice builder program we talked about. Levelup.techdata.com is a partner portal. It's available to all of our Tech Data partners, and there's a security page on there that has a lot of great information where you can download videos and data sheets and PowerPoints that'll be very helpful to you. And lastly, if you're interested in any sort of security services from Tech Data, please reach out to securityservices@techdata.com, and we'll get back to you right away to talk to you about any services needs that you have. So thank you once again, and I hope you have a great time at NextTech. Thank you.